Hey y'all, my name is Dylan Nellis. I'm a college essay coach at collegeessayadvice.com and also a student at Stanford University. And I am so excited for today's video. You guys are gonna love this. I had a super juicy interview with Anna, who is a freshman at Stanford University, who actually was enrolled in my college essay course last year. And I worked with her on her essays on Zoom. And now here she is today going to share her story and her journey and her really excellent insights about the college application process. Also, if you are interested in learning the 3 simple steps to craft a phenomenal college essay, I have something really amazing for you. It's a free hour-long masterclass where I go in depth and talk about this process and the common mistakes that people make when writing college essays and what you can do to fix them or avoid them completely. So you can head over to collegeessayadvice.com/masterclass. It's also linked in the description below, and I really hope that you guys can benefit from this. All right, let's get to it. Well, hi, Anna. Thank you so much for joining me. So happy you can be here and talk about your experience applying to college. So first, can you explain a little bit about yourself, like your name, where you're from, maybe what you're interested in majoring in?
So my name is Anna. Originally Ukrainian. I'm interested in majoring in mathematical and computational sciences in Stanford.
Cool. And so when you applied to college, where did you apply and then where did you end up getting in?
So I applied only early action/decision. So I applied only to Stanford because it was my top choice, and I got in, so I didn't apply regular decision.
Oh my gosh, wow, that is the dream.
Yeah,
So how did
exactly.
you feel about going into the college process when you maybe didn't know what to do yet? Like, what were some of your thoughts, feelings?
So despite that, I already went through some kind of an application process to American boarding schools from Ukraine. I
Mm.
still felt very uncomfortable and I don't know, very anxious about the process itself because I didn't really know like what colleges are looking for, how to present myself. Like I understood that I could not um, change some of the things I did in the past, but I just wanted to like combine them somehow and present them in the way that they will look good. Not like look good, but like that colleges will consider them. And also like a lot of my things were Ukrainian, so it was also like a very international experience. I wanted people to understand like what I'm talking about. So yeah, I felt pretty anxious, and the pool is very competitive, and so many people apply. That's why.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So then how did you end up hearing about my course and tell me about that journey of enrolling?
So basically, I was just looking for any advice online, and I looked at your channel first. That was the first step in my journey. I looked at your channel, and you had a lot of videos about. I was mostly interested in like the videos where you talked about your essays, and you read some symbols, and you were talking about like, oh, this worked, this didn't work, why? So I got interested in that. And then in one of the videos, you said, "Oh, by the way, I have a course." And I was like, "Oh, she knows what she's talking about. I should check it out." That's how I ended up enrolling.
Amazing. And so now tell me about your journey with the course and the college essay writing process. How was that for you?
So I started writing essays way before my senior year, like during summer, basically. I started like in the end of July, I think. I started thinking about them and I started writing. Yeah, just writing some drafts. I knew which school I want to apply to early, so I started pretty early with this specific list of questions. And after that, when I had a couple of drafts, I looked at your course. After that, I found your course, but I already had some work done. So
I
I would just look through the things that I wrote. I would just look through, review some topics that I picked, and based on your advice, I would like modify things. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So how did the course improve maybe your understanding of yourself or your confidence or your writing skills or just overall your essays?
In your course, you had those examples of essays, and you highlighted different things, and you wrote like, oh, this shows intellectual vitality, or this shows this shows that. It was very helpful. After that, I understood how to structure my essay. So I basically, you said create a plan of which things you want to show, and then write them in your essay. It was very helpful, because I would think that it's just like, if you have a topic and then you just write something on that topic, it will be fine. But it's very important to have a cohesive story so that people understand what you're talking about. So that was very helpful with this planning, and how you highlighted things that worked for the essays of others. The examples were very helpful, and then I just used them, and it made me reflect on my experiences. It made me think back to my childhood. For example, one essay, I think it was, um I wrote about growing watermelons with my grandfather when I was like 6
Really?
years old. Yeah, so it was one of those, little samples for Stanford, like 50-word essays. It was
Yeah.
very hard for me to pick the right topic, like not the right topic, but like just to pick what I want to write about. So for one of them, I wrote about, experience that I had like 15 years ago. So
Oh
it
my
was.
gosh. Yeah, that's so cool. And what was, I guess, the significance of that experience? Have you
Oh, I was just
watermelon?
a lot of my projects were for the community of kids. So I explained how I observed the process of growing a plant, the watermelon, especially, like how you have to look after it, and how I just wrote about like some specific things about growing watermelons, because I know a little bit about that. And said that it's pretty much like kids growing up, and how they develop their interest in different things. So I connected that experience, some small, like a small thing, to something big that I was working towards to improve the education in my home country for kids.
Wow, that is excellent. I love how you just took that one little thing and made it into a metaphor for something much larger. I think that's something that students don't think about often, or they hear about people who write essays on like very simple things, but they think that that's the only thing that the topic was about, when really it's coming from this like deeper concept.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why you have to reflect on your own experiences, and remember, like I would just spend time not writing. I would just spend time thinking. Like with
Mm,
a blank sheet of paper, I would just think and write down some, like, maybe sometimes, I don't know, even stupid ideas. Like, I don't know. I would just think through what I would be like, oh, where I spent my summers. Oh, with my grandparents, what did I do? I grew the plants, I watered the plants, I like learned how to bake, like like it was just some like things that I did as a child every single day. And then out of those, I would see like what can connect to my experiences as a teenager doing some social work, and where
yeah.
did they come from. And
Wow, that is very, very smart. That's very awesome. Um, so I'm curious, how did you change over the college application process? Like, I know in the beginning you said you were super anxious, you didn't really know what to do. What were you like by the end?
I think the way college application process is structured in the US specifically is that you will definitely, even if you're not getting into school. I remember when I called my parents after I submitted my application to Stanford, I told them like, I love that application. If they don't choose me, they don't want me. Like, they don't want the person, they don't want who I am, like, and that's fine. Like, I would be completely fine with that, because in that application, that's my joke, that's my
Mm,
life, that's who
mm,
I am. And if they don't want me, they don't I would not fit in that space, and that would be even better if they don't pick me, if I don't fit in, you know?
right, right.
So I was super, it was not like, oh, I'm so proud of myself, I did so many things, I'm the best, they should pick me. It was not like that. It was just like, that application, it reflects like I read through it for a couple of times. I was laughing, I was like remembering things, it reflects like who I am. So yeah,
Wow,
it
that is so
it basically
beautiful.
yeah, this process, I think it's structured in this way that you will come out of it being a different human being. Like you will, it makes you look back and think, ask yourself why you did certain things. Like we, as children, I think it's like a process of growing up. It's very important, this application process to colleges, because as kids we tend to just do things, you know, like, oh, I'm interested in that. Why are you interested? Oh, because it's just interests me. I don't know, I'm gonna do this because it sounds fun, because
Right.
I have friends in that music group,
Because it's
whatever. Like, you know,
cool. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, it's so cool, this class. Oh my god, I love this professor. Like, he doesn't give me much homework, I'm gonna take that class. Yeah, well, so things like that, you know. And after that, you reflect on all of this and you see how everything is interconnected, how from like growing the watermelons you come into like publishing books for kids, like, you know, it's all
Wow.
interconnected. And
Yeah.
after that you can see who you were, who you became, and who you can become. I think it's very important for people to reflect on experiences in general, like after, you know, how like before Christmas maybe people do that, oh, what I did in this year, what I want to do next year, you know, like
Right.
things like that. But that's a very important process, because if you really reflect on your experiences, if you analyze what went wrong and why, and who you became as a person, not just like, oh, I did this, my business failed,
Right.
I'm gonna start over, but like who I become and who I want to be. And that's the question they ask you in the application. And that's
Exactly.
that's great that they introduce us to this process while we are like 17 or 18.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I strongly agree. It's like not just about like, oh, let me get into college, wear this
No,
badge, whatever the school's name is on me. Like, no, no, no. It's like, let's actually think about who I am as a person and, gain these self-reflection skills that are going to benefit you for the rest of your life and literally everything else that you decide to do, even if you don't even decide to go to college. Like that process,
exactly.
it's still super, super beneficial for you no matter what.
Yeah. And it also helps you see like where things come from. Like it's not random. Your interests are not random. Your desires are not random. If you analyze which things you went through, maybe some psychological traumas, maybe some experiences that were harmful for you, or on the contrary, maybe some people you met who influenced you in a certain way, it all brings you to who you are right now.
Definitely. Actually, I was talking with someone at Stanford the other day about her life, and she was explaining to me that, growing up, she was always like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know what I want to do. But now she's a product design major and she looks
Mhm.
back at her life and she was like, it was there all along. Like my life
Exactly.
looks like a nice straight line, but it didn't feel that way when I was going through it. And she realized like, I always liked building little things. I always liked working on design projects, but I didn't put the pieces together until I like sat down and really reflected on it.
Yeah, and people think that it comes from like, you know, I don't know, product design, for instance, right? They think that, oh, I, as a kid, I have to be interested in product design. No, you don't have to, because you're a kid. You have to be interested in like watering the plants and like playing with your friends. That's who you are. But things, some small things, like I think my lecturer in one of my classes mentioned how she collected different stones, like on the street. She lived in this on the mountain region or something like that. Like they had a lot of mountains, and she was biking and she collected different stones and she would arrange them in a certain way, and that's how she developed interest to she does projects in photography which are based on those, you know, like arranging small detail and like taking pictures. Anyway, so it's my point is that it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm a product designer when I'm 5 years old. It has to be something like skills that you, things that you like to do, the skills that you have like naturally, you know, like arranging things, like, you know, it doesn't have to be like a profession right away.
Right.
People look for something like a profession when they're kids, but that's impossible. So
Yeah. Let kids be kids. Definitely. Amazing. So I guess to wrap this up, I want to know, how do you feel now that you're at Stanford? And I know you've only been at Stanford for a couple of weeks, but how has that been? Do you like it? Do you feel like it's for you? what about like expectations versus reality? I know I just threw a billion questions at you, so you can answer whatever you wish.
So I have a lot of friends who are in the same position as I am right now from my boarding school, Deerfield Academy. And we have been talking about what are different colleges like and what is life like in different colleges. And from those stories, from what I hear and from what I experience here, I can say that it's definitely a school that fits my interests. I like that interdisciplinary approach where we can take different classes of different disciplines, combine them all, and create something that we want, just like a combination of majors or something like that. I really like the community, how people, they're not very focused on only on their academic lives. They're also into social things, they are into different projects, they're very passionate about things that they do. Not everybody is like, oh, I'm CS. That's not Stanford. That's such like that's such a bad description of the school. People are just passionate about things that they do. If they do history, they're super passionate about that. If they do literature, they're super passionate about that.
Yeah.
If they do CS, they're super passionate about that as well. And people explore. It's not just a school like people think that, oh, if I want to do math or if I want to study like CS, I should go to that school. No, I want to study I want to do a psychology minor. So and I'm still here. And it's not a school for a certain type. Like, no, it's people are so different, and that's what makes the school what it is. I think that's what I like about the school. I didn't expect that. I really expected to come and be like, oh, I'm a classical musician, and everybody's like, oh, I'm a CS major. So it's definitely not what is happening, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is such great insight, and I think really, really helpful for like other students who are probably watching this video being like, what is Stanford like? So that's really
definitely not everybody is CS major.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking with me. This has been really, really juicy content that I'm so excited to share with everybody.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to people who are going through the process. I remember myself being like this, watching all the videos, especially of people who are like, like firstly you watch the videos of like, oh, work hard, do this, do that, and then you go into the videos like, oh, my first day in college, or like, oh, I moved in, oh, how it is for me, like you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really hoping that it can be helpful for somebody.
Absolutely. Oh, I know it will. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.